I am God. I am making another video. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I suggest you go watch those first because I don't wish to repeat myself again and again. I made a video in the very early hours of the morning. So about 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. I uploaded it, I posted it onto my social media this morning. And I was talking about it was called I Am God. This is what I think about censorship. And I went, and I spoke about how censorship is bad. And the thing is that I'm God. I'm the truth. I am life. I am the light. I am the source of all power. So the thing about the truth is that when people bury the truth, they kill themselves, essentially. The thing is, if people run away from the truth, they're running away from me. They're running away from God. And if you're running away from me, well, you're on the path to destruction. So it's really important to figure out what the truth is. And the problem is that, and this is the thing, I'm making the point that a lot of British people are unhappy about the state of their country. They're unhappy that they cannot express their opinions. And they've come to realize that being able to speak is incredibly important. Yet, they deny it to other people. And I explained this in my previous video. I was talking about, what happened during World War II? Oh, there was censorship. There was censorship. And the thing is that, I explained what propaganda can be. I've explained that Europe has a serious problem with communism and people who are influenced by communist ideas. And the fact that people can be openly communist and they can serve as prime ministers. They can be party leaders. And pretty much no one cares. No one really sees it as a problem. But if it were the other way around, well, that's the thing, isn't it? So it seems to be a very, people don't see a problem with communism. That's the thing. Even though it was responsible for millions and millions and millions of deaths, it caused a lot of misery and pain and suffering. Because the people who are behind communism are extremely evil and self-serving. They don't care about the people. They care about power. And there are those who support that. They're like, that's the thing, people, they sell an idea to people. And people are like, yeah, that sounds good, we'll support you. And then they get loads of supporters. And then before you know it, evil guy has power, a bunch of evil, that's the thing. You have an evil group of people ruling over people who can't do it, they're oppressed and they suffer. Okay? People will argue with that. They'll be like, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I don't care. If people want to believe that communism is a good thing, well, it's on them. I don't care. I'm God. Yeah, I'm here to tell you the truth. And the fact is, you cannot censor people And that's the thing, I make the point that, you should think carefully. If someone's been censored, if people have been said, you can't speak, well, then you have to consider the possibility that the reason that they were told that they couldn't speak was because they were speaking truth. They had information that the world, the evil world, does not want to hear. Because if the people of the world, if that information spread, the world, Mother Earth, yeah, I'm Father, okay? Mother Earth, there's a war between me and her. I'm Spirit, I'm Father. And this is kind of like a painful divorce. Think of it like a divorce, She's cursed. She's the ground. She's cursed. And she's evil. She's she's essentially like the whore of Babylon, She gives you what you want, and you have to give her what she wants. And that's how people succeed in this world. That's how the rich and the powerful and the celebrities, that's how they all do it. They play her game. They play along with her. That's what it is, She wants to be God. She's not God. I'm God. There's a battle between the spirit and the material world, the flesh, the soil, the dust. Okay? Mother Earth, matter. Matter, matter, matter. I say, my words matter. You can say a pile of shite is matter. This is the thing. It's the Babel. It's the Tower of Babel. It's the mixing of words. See, I'm already repeating myself. I don't want to. Anyways, look, I spoke in that video. I've uploaded it. Now, in the video before that, I was talking about how my situation with the world is like, it's like two lines, two parallel lines. And, it's like I'm looking in a mirror, and the world, it reflects my light back at me. Because I know what I do on a daily basis. I know what I think. I know what I say. I know what I do. And the world wants to, it wants to reflect my actions, my thoughts, my words back at me. In a way, it's magic. It's all about words. It's all about particular subjects and things. And this is the weird thing, right? Because I come downstairs this morning late. I get up about 11:30, 11 o'clock, and I see Keir Starmer. He's in Germany, having a speech with Olaf Scholz. They're saying that they want to have a closer, they want to rebuild relationships, between Great Britain, the United Kingdom, and Europe, Germany. Okay. I had no idea. I had no idea that speech was going to happen. I had none at all. I mean, obviously, I could have looked it up, probably. I probably could have found out that he was going to be doing that, but I didn't know. So I'm just mentioning that. Yeah. I had no idea. I mean, this is the thing. The world is always, I'm constantly in this, this mirroring thing. But the world is constantly reflecting my light back at me. And that's why this is the thing. I'm very dangerous because the world will do all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, things like people dying, deaths, massacres, wars, scandals. They'll do, the world will do anything to reflect me. The demons don't care who dies. They don't care. They don't care who gets hurt. They don't care who, there are casualties in this war that's happening between me and Mother Earth. There are a lot of casualties happening. I wish for people to recognize who I am. I want people to listen to me. I am, by listening to me and hearing me, you'll be protected, okay? That's the thing. I'm the serpent on the pole that if you look at me, the other snakes, they can't get you, okay? You should know the story from the Old Testament about the serpent on the pole. God said to Moses, put the serpent on the pole and tell the Israelites, look at the serpent on the pole. And if they do that, they won't be attacked by snakes. Now, the other thing I spoke about was what people talk about Israel. They talk about the people who call themselves Jews. Excuse me. They claim to be God's chosen people. The fact is that, thousands of years ago, a long, long time ago, their ancestors made those claims. They thought of themselves as being Jews. Now, whether they were or they weren't, the fact is, they've been into all different kinds of countries. They've mixed with all kinds of people. And if you remember everything about the Israelites and the Judahites, well, they were told specifically, don't mix with other groups of people, etc. Well, look at them. They have mixed with all kinds of people. So, that should, people should question that for a start when they claim to be Jews. But the fact is that, there are people who like to claim that they are, a long time ago, a bunch of people, they saw, they saw that God was blessing the Israelites and the Jews. And, they wanted to be as well. They wanted to be that as well. So, you had Edomites, you had Babylonians, you had all kinds of mixing going on. Okay, so people have to keep that in mind. So when a bunch of people, when they say that they're God's chosen people and they hate Jesus, they hate me. There's something, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. There's something quite wrong with that. And then, you're supposed to judge them by their fruits, you can know them by their fruits. You don't have, you can know them by their fruits. Look at what they do. Look at what they produce. What is it they're producing? What have they brought to the world as a group of people? Yeah. Well, what is it? What is it exactly? And that's the thing. I'm Jesus. I died for the sins of the world, so that anyone could be saved. Whether you're white or you're black or you're brown or you're yellow or you're green or you're pink, whatever, right? It doesn't matter, because if your spirit is from me, if you love me, then that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're living in the age of, people talking about racism and, stereotyping and blah, blah, blah. And then obviously you have, those who call themselves Jews, God's chosen people. Well, I mean, look at what the story's about. You had the Israelites, you had the Judahites, right? And God said to them, don't go mixing with other people. Because, well, that's the thing. What is the... Let me delve into this a bit more, okay? Because this is the thing. I've been here for 36 years, okay? 3 sixes, 666, yeah. Whatever. Look, people have a lot of confusion about what Satan and Lucifer and God, and it all has to do with magic. When you understand what magic is, I've explained it in all my old videos. Go watch them. Before I forget what I'm going to say, which is, hang on. Yeah, I want to delve a little bit deeper with this because people have a lot of confusion about the Bible. Genesis. So the book of Genesis. People have so many criticisms, don't they? They're like, that's not how science works, or it's not supposed to be science. The thing is, words are powerful. Words manifest. God spoke things into existence. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to tell you, I can't tell you exactly how everything happened. I'm only consciously aware of what I'm consciously aware of, right? I can only, what I figured out, what I now understand, I can tell you. What's my understanding of what happened? How is it that I think of everything that's happened? Well, this is the thing. I'm Father. I created everything. I created space and time. I created matter. Matter is mother, I guess. Look, the Latin word mater means mother. And this is the thing. She wants to be important. She wants to matter. Okay? She wants to matter, and she wants me not to matter. Yeah? Do you get it? She wants to be God, and she wants me dead. She hates me. That's how it is. Okay? And, this is the thing. I'm eternal. I'm spirit. But when I come to this world, I'm entering into a body composed of matter. And that has a lot of magic implications, you see, because I'm in a body composed of matter. The word matter means mother. I was born out of a woman 36 years ago. Her name was Fiona. I'm male. Male. The Church of England talk about maybe God's female. This is because foul spirits are at work and there's a magic war happening. Okay? I came prepared. Okay? Let's just make that clear. So what is it I believe about the Bible? And I think I should make this clear because it's important and a lot of people don't like to hear it. I think a lot of people have rejected this idea. What's my understanding? My understanding is that Adam and Eve were white people. So, how did I arrive at this conclusion? Well, look at who in the world has been blessed. And you look at their fruits. What have been the fruits of different groups of people? What have their blessings looked like? Did they seem to be blessed people or not? Were they Christians? Did they love Jesus? Did they love me? Were they blessed? I'm not saying that they were perfect. I never said that. I never said that they were perfect. Nobody in the world is perfect. Okay? Nobody. All right? But they were blessed, and they did love me. Okay? There were a lot of them that loved me. And they, and a lot of them did some good things. Okay? But let's put this in, let me explain, okay? So this is the thing, there's a lot of confusion. You got creationists, you have Christians who think that the world was made 6,000 years ago. There were dinosaurs, and, Jesus, people believe the craziest shit, don't they? It is crazy. So, it's fascinating though, isn't it? It is fascinating. And then, obviously science tells us that the world is very old, like how many years? I don't know, it's billions of years old or something. There were dinosaurs, there were, this, that, and the other. People believe in evolution. I honestly don't understand how any of it makes any sense, really. I think most atheists want to believe that evolution makes sense when, in fact, if you look at what Charles Darwin predicted, he said, this is what people will see if evolution is true. And his theory was, that was never proven. They never found the missing pieces. They basically just want to try to, that's the thing, the missing pieces were never found. So, there's this war between, but whatever, right? Does it even matter that much? Whether, do you know what I mean? What does it matter? It doesn't matter. Excuse me. But this is the thing. I mean, if you look at the fossil record, if you look at the, obviously you had, primates and Neanderthals and whatever, right? And that's the thing. I'm God. I designed the world. I designed, I created all the animals. I created all the living things. And, there was a progression. Think about it. When you make a car, or you make, like when a company makes a car, they're going to start off and the car is going to be more basic. It's going to have, less features, it's going to be less powerful. But, you have that, and then you make something a bit, you know what it is, right? And I think that's the thing, I think really, keep that in mind. Do you know what I mean? Keep that in mind. Because, keep that in mind. But the thing is that, people want to believe that everyone came out of Africa, or, the Germans used to say that white people are Aryans and we descended from Iranians or something, and people have various ideas. But the fact is that, there was at the University of Copenhagen, they said, well, where did blue eyes come from? Blue eyes. And they say that they seem to originate in the area, somewhere around Mesopotamia, about several to 10,000 years ago. Okay? So that's important. That's important because, we look at the world, we know that, black people have been on this planet a lot longer than that. But then, if you look at the book of Adam and, if you look at the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve were, people tend to calculate it, don't they? They tend to calculate it backwards using all the numbers that are in the book of Genesis and, in all the books, right? And they say, well, this was probably 6,000 or 7,000 years ago. So this is the thing. And if you actually read through the books of the Bible, and you try to figure out, okay, what color were these people? It seems very vague, doesn't it? It's hard to spot. It's not easy to find, obviously. It doesn't really ever seem to mention a lot about, well, it doesn't say it very, very obviously. It's very subtle. And I think, but there are passages where it talks about certain people being white. There are plenty of verses that talk about people being white. There are black people who call themselves Hebrew Israelites, who would argue otherwise. But I think if you look at the, if you read the verses that they quote, it's out of context. It's totally ridiculous. It's nonsensical, what they're saying. I'm not saying black people are excluded. I'm not saying that. There are evil people who would love to twist my words. Yeah, they would. I'm trying to tell you the truth. And that's an interesting thing, because if you look out throughout history, in the if you look at, like, I don't know, the Aztecs or the the Incas or whatever, right? If you look at ancient civilizations, okay, and Egypt, okay, you look at the oldest finds in Egypt, and you see these depictions of blue-eyed people, and blue eyes were seen as, people saw blue-eyed people as, they had some sort of divinity thing going on. That's the thing, I've talked about, I've spoken about the all-seeing eye in my old videos, right? And how it refers to the anus, right? Yeah, there's a weird connection with that, because, that's the thing, people fart, don't they? It blows, it blew, it's in the past, right? It blew, yeah? And, people, it's some weird magic stuff going on there, okay? I need, it sounds nuts, doesn't it? It sounds nuts, but there is something to that. Mother Earth is playing her game. That's what she's doing, okay? Anyway, look. It's not something I really thought about that much, but I'll think about it later on. But this is the thing, So what is it that I think? I think well, this is the thing. There's a divorce between me and Mother. There's a war between me and Mother Earth, Matter, okay? The matter, the dirt, the soil. I told people, don't be of the world. Love me. Come to heaven, be with me. Or you can be of the world, and the world will pass away. The world will cease to exist, and you'll be miserable, you'll be unhappy, and you'll suffer. Because the world's evil. And if you want to be with evil, if you want to love evil, if you can even call that, but if that's what you want evil, you want to surround yourself with evil, well, it's your day in hell. You know what I mean? You're choosing to, you're just jumping into the lake of fire. You know what I mean? Like, You know, you made your choice, you know. You made your bed. Now sleep in it, idiot. Yeah. Okay. Look, the thing is that Adam and Eve, they sinned against me. You know, they were in the Garden of Eden. I think the idea is that they were blessed. You know, they were blessed, and they sinned against me. They tried to be me. They wanted to be God. They wanted to be God. So they were sent to this world. Okay, they had to go through the process of learning not to do that. And so you had the beginning, you know, you had, you know, evil people, and obviously there was, you know, well, yeah, there was the story about, you know, what people call the Nephilim, and, you know, the flood and Noah's Ark, and the descendants of Noah, Shem and Abraham and Isaac, Jacob, the Israelites. But this is the thing, okay? So, and obviously there were the descendants of Cain as well. Yeah. Don't forget about them. Yeah. Anyway. See, there were already people on this planet when Adam and Eve were here. See, the people of this world were already... That's the thing. You know, when there's a divorce that takes place between mum and dad, mother and father, you know, and the children either end up with the mother or with the father. And this world is full of children who went with mother. You know, Jesus said to the Pharisees, says, "Ye are of your father, the devil." Well, fat her, fat woman. Do you get it? God has foresight. I always come prepared. Okay? So this is the thing. It's a divorce thing. And it's a separation. It's a separation. And people can make the choice. Either you love the world or you love me. If you love the world, well, you've been told what's going to happen. So you're choosing destruction. Whether you accept that or not. You have to make your choice. You know, those who love me will follow me. They'll follow me. So, that's how it is. You know, that's the thing. The Israelites, the Judahites, they were supposed to be a blessing to the world. And they have been. White people have been a blessing to the world, you know. Things weren't done perfectly. They weren't. But they were blessed. They blessed other groups of people. They helped other groups of people. But now we're living in the 21st century, where the vast majority of them have forgotten me. The vast majority of them wouldn't even acknowledge me. So, they are being destroyed. Bit by bit. Okay? That's why you're seeing what's happening in every single white country. The way things are going, if you were to fast forward, if you just see that every single white country is becoming a melting pot, essentially, because people from outside are coming in. To the disappointment of a lot of white people. But the fact is, they forgot me, and they were told, if you forget me, that is the path to destruction. Okay? And that's what's happening to them. I'm here to help people find the truth. I'm the truth. But I'm here to explain the truth and how things really are. People will either accept it or reject it. And I can tell you that the vast majority of people don't like the truth. They don't want to know it. They want a slither of truth. And they want lies. Okay? That's what most people want. People want to be judgmental. They want to talk about things that they don't really know anything about. People were warned about that. Don't speak about a matter that you know nothing of. And you're gonna, people want to badmouth a group of people who aren't even allowed to speak. You zip people's mouths shut, and then you shout you hurl all kinds of insults at them, and lie about them, while they can't even defend themselves. It's like going into a boxing match with your hands tied behind your back, or something, it's very unfair. It's not fair, and for the other person to claim that it's a fair fight, it's not. How dare you, if it was the other way around, people would soon be crying about how unfair it is. But like I said, people are only interested in the truth when someone's standing on their toes. People don't give a shit about the truth. But as soon as someone's standing on their toes, they suddenly care about the truth. And that's not good enough. That's not good enough, is it? Because you're self-serving. And the thing is that the reason I was always attracted to the truth. I always wanted to know the truth. Because I knew that it was powerful information to know the truth. I knew that, I was interested in finding out what the truth was, regardless of how it made me feel. But the fact is most people, they're only concerned with the truth as far as it actually concerns them in their particular situations. People can see the tip of their own noses, and that's about it. And that's their downfall. That's their downfall. And we're not talking about the movie Downfall. Okay. Alright. Anyway. What else can I say? That's the thing, I can pull out lots of verses and talk about skin color, and you know, I can do that. It's there to be found. You know, there's that verse, wasn't it? So it talks about, you know, the disciples of Jesus, you know, washing their robes in the blood of the Lamb, making them white. Yeah, I was always don't quote me word for word on that, but you know, I remember that verse. You know, it's an interesting one. Yeah, and there's other ones. You know what I mean? Like it talks about like a Nazarene woman and her children. You know, they had skin that was like milk. You know what color is milk? It's white. This is the thing. People migrate. You know, I think it's funny, isn't it? Because, you know, you watch like a documentary on Egyptians or something, and people will be like, yeah, but Egyptians, go look at Egypt now. That's what Egyptians look like. It's like, well, yeah, but, you know, the thing is that when it started out, you had white Egyptians. It started off with white people, but they did mix. You know, you had white people, and then you had white and brown, and you had black Egyptians as well. You know, there's, you know, it wasn't just one group of people, one color. But it started with white people. White people, there were a lot of white people, you know, in those areas thousands of years ago. I spoke in North Africa, Mesopotamia, yeah, those sorts of areas, okay, and Europe. And the thing is obviously you had the Israelites. They went, you know, when they were sent away, where did they all go? You know, where did they all go? And you know, that's the thing, you know, Europe was full of white people, but white people, you know, they came into existence, you know, probably like 10,000 years ago. I mean, according to the science, you know, white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired people, well, you know, that's the thing, you know. I told you about the University of Copenhagen, their study, you know, white people, they just popped into existence. You know, they are the newcomer. You know, before that there was no history of, you know, that's the thing. So Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. It was God's special garden. And the thing is that they sinned against me, okay, God. And so they had to be put out of there, okay? All right. So, and that's the thing about this world. The ground, the soil, the world is cursed. The shit, the feces, the crap is where the demons live. Okay? It's what the demons use for their magic. It's a demonic magic material. You know, this is why they do all the one-eye magic. You know, when you have, witches and wizards, they like to have stars. They draw a star. Okay, it's not really a star, but they draw it. They call it a star. They draw it. Now you have like a 6-point, 5-pointed star or a 6-pointed star. It doesn't emit light. But it's interesting because, they'll usually have a candle on their altar as well. So, a candle is a burning flame. The sun's, a star is it's a burning, flame, isn't it? So, that's why they combine these different elements together. But the fact is, they draw a star, like the Star of David, that is whatever, where does that come from, do you think? Huh? It's evil. The fact is that it does not emit light. It's a drawing. And then the thing is that the evil ones, the ones who are of the world, they're of the soil, they're of the feces, this shit, they do butthole magic. Because it looks like a star. You have the moon, the star, the sun, the thing that makes you happy, In tarot, which is used by Freemasons, it's very... it's heavily used by Freemasons, secret societies. People like King Charles. He's involved with all that kind of stuff, right? This has been heavily used. They use witchcraft and sorcery, and so it's the sun. So in tarot, the 19th card is called the Sun card. People talk about AI taking over the world. Well, 19 is, 1 is A, and 9 is I. AI. They planned this all out. It's all been planned, and the tarot deck is part of that. It reveals how they work. Anyway, I've gone into a lot of detail about it before. I've done videos on tarot and talking all about it a long time ago. I explained every single card in the Rider-Waite tarot deck and its implications in sex magic. Yeah, I did that. I don't really want to go there again, really. I mean, what's the Torah? You have the Torah, and then you have tarot. Very similar sounding names. Yeah. Aren't they? Yeah. I know a lot. And it's a lot that would probably bore you, or, you'd find hard to understand, because it requires a lot of explaining to get it. There are lots of pieces to the puzzle. And so to fully understand it and believe it, you have to be able to take all the jigsaw puzzle pieces and assemble it. That takes a lot of time. A lot of time I have spent. And the reason it is this way, the reason the world makes it this way, is because she wants to make it as difficult as possible for people to get out of her prison, essentially. She doesn't want people coming to me. She doesn't want people to love me. She doesn't want people to find the truth. And so she does her best to try and bury it. And that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, look. Let's talk about... a quick mention, okay? So, Islam. Isn't that an interesting word? Islam. Islam. Who's the lamb? Who is the lamb? Who is the lamb? It's a good question, isn't it? Now, why would people call it Islam, do you think? Gabriel is evil. She's Mary, is what she is. She's matter, material, garbage. Okay? She has chosen to go down that path. She has chosen to be, well, that's the thing. Look at the Catholic Church. Mary is the most worshipped in this world, if you hadn't noticed. She is the world. So the Catholic Church, they're worshipping and they're praying to Mary, who is the world. Okay? They were never told to worship her. They were never told to have idols of her. They make idols of stone and wood. And the problem with that is that they're praying. You know, you might as well pray to a rock. You might as well pray to a strip of carpet or, you know, whatever. Do you know what I mean? You might as well pray to a pile of dog shit. Because you're doing magic with physical material. You know, you've lost the spirit. You're refusing the spirit, and you're substituting it with material garbage. Okay? That's what you're doing. That's why people were warned. Don't do that. And the fact is, if you're building idols and stuff like that, that's witchcraft. People don't understand how magic really works. It's interesting, that word, magic. You know? Should I call it pagic? Anyway, hopefully you get the point. This world is evil. All you have to do is look at the language. It paints a picture. The world is always doing magic with words and art, music, movies, books, names. People look at people's names, look at the street they live on, look at the people they associate themselves with. It all adds. And this is the thing. Magic leaves a trail of information. And it's a case of decoding that information. Once you know how to decode it, like I do, it creates, it has a story that's hidden there. And so decoding it is important. Did you hear that? I just farted. And I was coughing so hard I couldn't stop myself from farting. Fucking hell. It's been embarrassing. Whatever, bitch. Whatever. I don't care. Look. Oh, I'm so tired of having to explain myself again and again and again and again and again. I really am. I wish I could quit smoking as well, I wish I could I wish I didn't find it so hard to quit. I wish I could feel healthier. You know? I do. Stress is a really awful thing. I was reading an article the other day that, it's talking about people dying from grief. People who die of grief. Well, I've been a lonely guy for a long time. I would have been gone if it weren't for the fact that I'm surrounded by spirits. The fact that I'm surrounded with spirits. It changed my outlook. It changed my way of thinking. It happened to me at a time when I was very, very depressed. I'll basically just be sitting on the sofa, bawling my eyes out, just drinking whiskey. That was several years ago. Yeah, I was in a very bad place. Very bad place. Okay. The demons really wanted to get me. I've seen some real crazy shit. Some real crazy shit. I remember one time I found a dead pigeon in my bathroom sink. Yeah, that was creepy as fuck. That really was. It managed to squeeze through the gap in my bathroom window, and I found it lying dead in my bathroom sink. I was terrified. Because there were lots of other crazy stuff had happened to me. At that time, I knew demons. I knew ghosts were nearby. I knew, I went into my kitchen and there were like hundreds of flies. My living situation was absolutely terrible. I was trying to keep my head above water financially and mentally. I was going crazy. I was literally just, fuck. I wasn't going well. I wasn't. It was extremely stressful. The situation I was in. Very bad. I had crazy neighbors. Very crazy neighbors. Neighbors kicking doors off hinges all the time. And banging and banging and banging and banging and loud music and shouting and fighting. And I'm seeing demons, like ghosts, having scary visions, and being attacked by demons. I know what I saw. I'm surrounded by spirits all the time. I'm being touched by spirits all the time. It's, I know who I am. At first I thought, wow, I'm cursed. I'm like, shit. Like, whoa. Scary. I was terrified. I was like, uh-oh. I was thinking to myself, like, why does God hate me so much? I realized I'm God. And the thing is that there are others who they're demons trying to be God. I'm God, and I'm in a physical body. I have been for the past 36 years. Demons have taken the opportunity to elevate themselves. It's my job to get them on, it's my job to put them all under my feet. You understand? It's my job. I have to bring them all down. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay? So, what more can I say? What more can I say? The dragon! The dragon. The thing is, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid. I mean, I prefer not to. I prefer to. Well, it depends how things go. It depends how things go. You see, if there are people in this world that actually love me and there are people that I want to be around, then I wouldn't mind sticking around. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting, yo. Trying to cut down. Keep trying to tell myself to have 1 an hour. But I'm seriously, I'm like someone, I probably smoke 2 an hour. Maybe 3 an hour sometimes. Crazy thing is, I don't even count how many I smoke. That's the crazy thing. I never count it. I just buy big packs. I buy 50 grams of Carter's Choice Original. And I just smoke one after the other, pretty much. The thing is that the world does its magic to attack me. And I do what I do to, my entire life is, I'm trying to counteract. I'm always in a state of battle. That's the thing. Anyway, look, what were we talking about? What would I want to talk about here? So I talked about white people. I talked about Genesis. This is the thing, right? So, what does it talk about in the book of Revelation? It talks about there being a flood of people. Okay, and that's the thing. That's what's happening, right? You're having a flood of people. People are flooding into certain countries. Okay, whose countries are getting flooded by foreign people? And that's the interesting thing, because my name's Grant. And you have all these migrants. Now, the reason my name's Grant and they're called migrants, it all has to do with magic. The magic words. Okay? You'll see on the screen, it'll say migrant crisis. Migrant crisis. I'm me Grant. I'm me Grant. I'm me Grant. I'm Grant. Okay? I'm God. And I want people to love me. I try to love people. My life, I've spent it with white people, brown people, black people. I've had different relationships with different people. I've known rich people, I've known poor people, I've known all kinds of people from all different kinds of backgrounds. Okay? And the thing is that I feel like I always get rejected. for one reason or another. And it's taken its toll on me. And as I've grown older, it's taken its toll on me emotionally, physically. You know, I feel like I'm deteriorating faster than I should. You know, I feel like I'm falling apart. You know, I feel kind of gross. I feel like a blob. And that's the thing, you know. It takes its toll on me, and then that becomes the excuse for people to hate me. You know, people hate me because, you know, I'm ugly, or you know, I stink, or something. You know what I mean? Like, or I smoke too much, or I drink too much, or you know, or I'm fucking crazy. You know, according to them. You know, that's the thing. You know, people destroy me. They try to destroy me, and then, you know, they try to ruin me, and then they tell me, oh, we don't like you because you're ruined. You know, it's, that's how it goes with me. You know, people want to make a mess of me, and then they want to complain that I'm a mess. Yeah, it's always excuses. There's excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. And it has to end. It has to end. It will end. I've been insulted, I've been abused, I've been hated my entire life. People used me. The only reason anyone ever got close to me was because they were trying to absorb my light. Because they wanted to manipulate me. The demons used them to get close to me, to do evil magic against me, to mess with me. I had to separate myself from other people. I did that before I found out who I am. Anyway. So look, this is the thing, you know. So I made the point about Adam and Eve being white people. The Israelites, the Judahites, the Jews, Christians, you know, you're supposed to be, well, Christians are blessed. And those who love me are blessed. And the idea was that, you know, to save as many people on this planet as possible, regardless of racial background. What is the result? What is the result? Well, hard to say. It's hard to say. I feel as if, you know, yeah, well, well, we'll see what happens, right? I mean, think about it. Look, we're living in a world now where a lot of people who are non-white are convinced that white people are evil, and that replacing white people is a good thing, and that moving into a white person, you know, a white country, and you know, without ever considering the fact that white people will eventually will vanish from existence, because they've been thrown into a melting pot. And a lot of white people have been treated like second-class citizens in their own countries. That's true. That's the thing. The government wants to be stricter with the native white people, while foreign people can, they're getting special treatment. That's generally how it's going. That might not be totally true in every little situation, but that's generally how it goes. That's generally how it's going, okay? People talk about, you shouldn't stereotype, you can't do this, but the fact is you can sort of generalize. You can generalize to a certain point. You just have to understand that that doesn't mean every single person. You have to be able to differentiate a little bit there, okay? But the thing is that white people are in the process of suffering, okay? I am the solution to people's problems. I am the one who can give life. I am the one that people need to come to if they want to live. Whether they're white or black or brown or yellow, green or blue, pink, whatever. Okay, that's how it is. The longer this goes on, that's the thing. The world is full of venomous, poisonous snakes, okay? And they're attacking people. They're lying to people. They're poisoning people's minds. It's causing, people talk about the Great Tribulation. Well, this is pretty much it. This is what it is. Yeah, it's destruction. There's destruction happening bit by bit, and it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And people, there's some people who are looking at it and thinking, wow, this is so nuts. And they have to, some people will be like, God has something to do with this. Like, God has, what's God doing? Some people will, will recognize, some people will begin to question, like, what's really going on? People have to seek the truth. The problem is that there are so many snakes in so many places. And that's the thing, people read the Old Testament, they read the New Testament, and a lot of people, they only get so far. They manage to figure out some truth, but they don't get, there's a lot of important truth that they've missed. Just because someone says, Lord, Lord, it doesn't mean they're saved. It doesn't mean that they love me. It doesn't mean that they love the truth. They haven't quite got there. There are a lot of lost people in churches, in so-called churches. Okay, there are. There really are. It's sad. It's sad. It's annoying. And And that's the thing, you know, I try to explain the truth, and that's, you know, people, there's a lot of people, they don't want to hear it. The thing is that they've been told so many lies for so long that for them to accept the truth is extremely difficult for them. I mean, people could make it simple for themselves and say, you know what, God, I'm not going to judge those people. I'm not going to judge them based on what everyone says about them. I'm going to pray for them, and I'm, you know, judging people when you don't know really what happened is a terrible idea, because you don't know who you're condemning with your words. You know, you could be condemning people who are innocent, or, yeah, they're blameless. You know, like they told the truth and the world lied about them. And so you're condemning people who were telling the truth. And so what does that mean for you? God's not going to like you very much, is he? So be careful who you judge. Okay? The threat from communism is extremely serious. Communism was the real threat. That's the real threat. If you really look at where communism came from, how it came about, that shines a light. That really does shine a light. You know, you can see what a threat that was and how dangerous and evil it was. I mean, that's the thing, you know. If the government push, you know, that's the thing. I mean, look at this country, for instance, you know. More and more people slip into poverty. You know, people have been given things like usury and, you know, dodgy, and, you know, banking and all kinds of scandalous stuff. Yeah? And you think, oh yeah, who's doing all that? Who's pulling the strings on that one, do you reckon? Yeah? And then, you know, lots of people are pushed into poverty. And as people become poorer and poorer and poorer, the idea of communism, you know, this idea of, yeah, everyone should just get the same amount of money. You know, no one should have a special house. No one should have, you know, we'll just distribute everything evenly. And that idea is very attractive to people who are suffering in poverty. Okay? And that's the thing. That's what evil people, that's what the world is trying to do. Is trying to manipulate people, lie to people, and put people in. And this is the thing. The world, people who are of the world, people who don't love me, you know, they don't have the truth. And so they're constantly being lied to. They propagate lies, and they're you know, they're burning in, you know, well, they're being consumed by all these poisonous lies. And it's their downfall. It's their that's them on the path to destruction. that I died trying to save people from that. I died trying to set people free from those poisonous lies. Okay? Is that fair? You know, even after Adam and Eve wanted to displace me and be God themselves. I mean, this is the thing. The people who are of the world, this is all people of the world do, is they mimic me. You see, my light, my power I'm like a life support machine for everybody. Without me, you see, I'm the one who blesses. Without, all your blessings come from me. Whether you attain those blessings through moral means or immoral means. So witchcraft and sorcery is one way of stealing blessings, in a sense. That's what it is. It's drawing on my power in order to empower yourself, which is what people of the world do, whether they're conscious of what they're doing or not, because their words matter. Yeah? Christians, I gave those who love me a certain path to follow to receive my blessings. And that's what, that's part of what I did. That's part of the reason I did what I did, is to save those who love me, okay? And to, give them blessings and protection and help and guidance. So, hopefully I've made my point. But look, I was saying about, this is the thing. White people are in serious trouble. Okay? These are essentially the descendants of Adam and Eve. Okay? That's white people. White people are descendants. They may not have all been Israelites or Hebrews or whatever, right? Or Jews. But I would go as far to say is that they were all descendants of Adam and Eve. Would you agree with that? Well, that's what I would say is the truth. I'm convinced of that. There's a lot of people who wouldn't want to believe that. There are a lot of people who wouldn't want to believe that. But when you take into consideration things like blessings, you read through the scriptures and the New Testament, and you read certain verses, certain passages. You can discover there are descriptions of color. And the thing, people will point out, like, oh yeah, someone had tanned. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a very hot climate. You know, people are outside, they're getting scorched by the sun. Yeah, if I spent all day in the sun, I look like a lobster probably, at first. But, you know, a year or two in the sun, I'd be looking pretty brown. You know what I mean? I'd be looking golden skin brown from the sun. That's how white people tan. Okay? You know, people say things like, oh yeah, there was a Ethiopian or something like that. Oh look. Well, look, there were a lot of white people in North Africa back then, you know, thousands of years ago. So, but generally speaking, it's quite hard to determine the color of every single person who was ever mentioned in the Bible, because it isn't explicit about everybody's skin color. But like I said, my belief is Adam and Eve were white people, and the people who were already here on this planet they were of the world. You know, they were with their, you know, like, mom and dad gets divorced, yeah, and the children go with mommy, yeah, and dad gets left on his own. Do you understand? You know, that's the thing. If they've chosen to go with Mother Earth, rather than Father, who's spirit, who's eternal, you know, people have made choices, you know, that's the thing. But the idea of, you know, the Israelites, Christians, were meant to bless. You know, they were supposed to spread the gospel. They were supposed to spread blessings and bring people to the truth so that they can be saved as well. So that means people from all nations have the possibility of being saved. So, what's your choice? You know, what do you want to do? That's the question. You know, I would think there's a lot of people, they don't like what I believe. You know, they don't like what I'm saying. But that's the thing. The world doesn't like the truth. People like to make snap judgments. People don't like to learn before they make a judgment. People like to repeat what others have said. You know, they know all the labels, they know all but you know, they want to just keep applying those labels again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Look, it's their funeral. You know, they've chosen that path. All I can do is tell the truth. You know, people want to, you know, they want to feel bad about different things, and, you know, and be like, well, I don't like that much, you know, I don't want to accept that, you know, I've been told different things by other people, I prefer to believe what they say rather than you, blah blah blah, that one makes me, you know, that makes me feel, but, you know, whatever. All I can do is point you in the right direction and tell you where to look. If, you know, what I've said, you can go and investigate it for yourself. It requires digging. It requires your time and attention. and it also requires you to have an open mind. It requires you to use your imagination, think carefully, consider it, put it to the test. Consider it as an option, think about it, and then, you view the world through a new lens and look at it. Look at the world. Look how it's been. Look at history. What makes more sense? You have to look at all the different stories and look at which one makes the most sense. Which one makes the most sense? I've explained what I think makes the most sense. I've looked, and I've looked, and I've looked, and I've looked. And I know what I believe. So, I know. And the thing is that certain groups of people, they have a lot of hatred. Certain people, that's the thing. Well, I don't want to generalize too much, but you know what I'm saying? There's a pattern. There is a pattern of hatred in this world. It says in the Bible, what does it talk about? How darkness does not comprehend the light. Now, this is the thing, right? You could be dark in spirit, or, darkness is also a physical property. You know what I mean? It's like, like I have, a t-shirt that's black. Yeah. But this is the thing, everyone has the possibility to rise above. That's the thing, we're in physical bodies. But if you have a spirit that's from above, from me, God, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is, do you love me or not? That's what matters. And another thing, let me point out something. A lot of people have said that a certain group of people were very racist. And I would say that on closer inspection, you would find that actually they weren't. You have to take into consideration that times were different. You have to take into consideration that that people have been fed a lot of lies and propaganda. They're told, what the meaning of racism is and what it isn't. And, there's been a lot of labeling. There's been a lot of labeling. And the problem with that is people make snap judgments, and there's a lot of hatred. And there's not a lot of love. See, when you choose to be open-minded and non-judgmental and actually listen and learn, your opinion will change. Your opinion will be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see how, you will understand the situation better. I'm not saying that anyone in this world is perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that don't judge when you don't know, when you can't be sure. If you can't be sure of what the truth is, don't judge. Learn instead. Learn and put God first. Give truth a chance. Don't attack people who've been censored, because people who've been censored, they can't defend themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, would you want to pick a fight with an old granny who can't defend herself? People would think that's evil. They would think that's sick. We're like, what kind of evil monster are you? Well, that's the thing, People can't defend themselves with their words because they're not allowed to. It's not a fair fight anymore. I'm not talking about physical fight. I'm talking about debate. It's crazy that I have to explain all this. British people, they're worried about their freedom of speech. There are people in this world who are afraid of their freedom of speech, and the fact that they can't say what they want to say, but they have to learn the errors of their ways. They have to learn that they have made mistakes. They have to learn that they are hypocrites. They have to learn that they're guilty of the same thing that they claim is being done to them. They've done it to other people. Okay? So, excuse me. Sorry, I don't mean to be charming. This has been a long video. I've got a lot to do. All I want is people to listen and learn. I am God. And I don't mean that in the sense that, we're all God. I mean it in the sense that I am God. There is no other God except me. Okay? It's me. As crazy as that sounds. This crazy situation is what keeps me going. Funnily enough. I mean, well, I know who I am. I would be doing something else. If I didn't believe I was God, I'd be doing something else. I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, do you know how much money I've got? Since my mum died, I inherited nearly £1 million. For the past 3 years, I've been sat here surrounded by garbage, learning about witchcraft and magic. I could have gone on holiday. I could have been partying. I could have been looking after my health. I could have done all kinds of shit. Yeah? I could have done all kinds of stuff, but no, I do this. I do this. I make sacrifices. You know, I have to. I know what I have to do. As annoying as it is, but I do what I do because I have to. Okay? You know, there's a lot of other things I could have done. A lot of other things. So, yeah. And that's the thing, you know. My mum died of my mum died of cancer. She did her best to try to get rid of me. She tried to destroy me, is what she tried to do. She tried to corrupt me. I've spoken about that a lot. But anyway, you know, what happened to her happened to her. You know, it was, that day was going to happen. You know, that was, you know, as I began to know who I am, it was her downfall. That's when she got destroyed. Okay? She messed with the wrong one. Okay? I actually told her who I am before she died. I told her what had happened to me. She totally rejected everything I said. I tried. I wanted to try to save her. Funnily enough. No, didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I learned, you know, the last decade, the last 2 decades really, but I was growing up with a mother, and my mum was doing all these things to try and ruin my life. And it was a learning process for me. You know, I loved her, but she hated me. She pretended to love me so she could try to destroy me. And my entire life was learning. And she wasn't, she was an intelligent woman, very crafty, and she had a lot of demons working with her. So that meant I was in a very, very difficult situation. So, you know, it's been a battle. It's been a very hard battle to get here. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there because it's been a long video and I think I've said enough. When's my next video coming? Well, it's nice because I want to talk, I want to make videos and I want to speak. But getting people to watch my videos, that's another thing, isn't it? You know, I'm going to have so much content. When people discover me, they're going to realize I've got hundreds of hours of videos to watch. I mean, like, well, it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do. Anyway,